Hi, guys. This is Daniel Alexander Cannon here on The Supernatural Show, the show that is not for entertainment purposes. And today is going to be a good example of that because most of us are not going to want to hear, understand, or even believe what we're going to talk about today. Unfortunately, it is a reality that is becoming more and more and more clear. What are we talking about? We're talking about the flood of AI. We're talking about how AI is being used in order to create a problem. AI is a weapon, and the weapon has been put in your hands. What are you going to do with the weapon? What will you create that is fake? What will you create that later will be determined to be a problem? Because there is a problem coming, and we can all kind of see it, and that is that everything is becoming fake or questionably fake. And if it gets to a severe enough of a point, and it will, and it's coming, then there's going to be a reaction by the public. And that reaction is going to demand, even if 2/3 of the reaction is fake itself, it's going to demand a solution that's going to require biodigital IDs, and meaning that anything and everything you do will be tracked, buy and sell. And yes, it is the final mark. It is the final mark, or you must take it in order to be able to do something on the internet, to use a bank account, to buy something at the store. It's all being lined up perfectly like a dystopian nightmare. And I can see it coming. And I'm here today to warn you about it. I'm here today to tell you to warn your friends about it. Maybe if we could get enough people to know and to recognize, and no, my voice isn't big enough around the world, but there's an echo I create when I speak. There's an echo I create when I speak. That echo can be picked up by others all around the world, and this plan can be exposed. In order for that to happen, though, there has to be an echo when I speak. You have to share this information with everybody that you know and warn them as to what's coming. We're going to try to explain it the best way we can today to the best of our ability and our understanding currently. I have Roxy in the house with me. I have Shannon in the house with me. Miss Kim is on a little visitation with her cousin, so she's not here today. But I welcome Roxy and Shannon.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Oh, Shannon.
Yes.
I don't think I took David's warning about the flood of AI, the book that he wrote that you can get on Amazon. And no, I'm not promoting this. Well, I guess I am promoting it.
I'm promoting his book. As a matter of fact, it's one of my giveaways. So yes.
It's just, people are so used to, like, we're pushing something for some kind of a monetary gain. We're not.
No, I'm giving these books away, giving them for free.
Have you read the whole thing yet, Shannon?
I've read it twice.
Okay. So how does that book fit with the scenario of what you know so far that we're going to be talking about today?
It is 100% in line with
AI
it
being weaponized?
Completely. Oh, yeah. Well, and the beauty of this book and David's research and everything is it is all scripturally backed. I cannot talk today. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. And he truly goes back to show you how all of this stuff links in to, the Nephilim, the stuff in the past. It's all biblical. And how AI has actually been running things for quite some time, and we didn't even realize it. You
Yeah.
know, something I'd like to bring up. I've done a couple of shows on this, on Children of the Most High, and we've brought this up a few times here on the Supernatural Show. But in my testimony, one of the biggest things that shook me that I experienced was seeing myself on the news shooting somebody when I know I didn't actually do it. And God was showing me in that scenario that they have the ability to make it look like you did anything they want you to do on screen, even though it isn't true. And that was a big warning. It wasn't just for that exact scenario, but it was really honing in on the fact that AI is going to be a big part of these end times and their plans. And you look at all the data centers being built up around everybody and all of these things, and you know that they're gearing up this power to be explosively large, much grander than what it already is.
Who's going to build those data centers?
We've got Amazon, we've got Oracle,
No, I mean
we've got
the physical laying of the bricks.
the physical laying of the bricks. I mean, there's some companies out there that...
Okay, so what I'm getting at is that the people are going to build it. They're going to build their own prison. They're going to build their own demise. And we've been doing this for hundreds, if not thousands of years. We've been being led into it, unfortunately. And man is kind of a gullible creature, apparently. And we know we are, especially when we're born into this world new and don't know nothing. And we accept the reality that is presented to us. And I say man because I'm not sure I can use the word human anymore after Roxy blew my brain the other day.
Wait.
She'll
Can
do
I
that.
give it to him, Shannon? Can I give it to him?
Yeah.
You know where they get pink sea salt or pink salt from?
Where?
The Himalayan mountains. Well, we think it's a giant titan, so that's why they call it the Himalayan mountains. Okay, I'm out.
Himalayan.
Himalayan.
Well, there's a real good chance you're on the money there. Wow. I've got a couple of videos here that I'm going to play.
Could I interject one thing real quick?
Yes.
Before you play these videos, it might be a setup for it. I don't know, but just keep in mind, everybody, that because there is nothing more frustrating to me than when you're telling somebody or explaining how advanced AI really is, that they'll come back at you and say, no way, you can tell that it's fake because blah, 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 blah. It's like you realize that's the technology that they're giving you to use for free, right? So how advanced and how far back have we had that? And if you keep that in mind to everyday events for the last 15 years, just keep that in mind because the technology,
years at least.
Right, the tech, and see, they just came out with that, what is it called? Cora or whatever 2, or I can't remember the name of it right now, saved my life, but it's so advanced, but yet it's still free, but it does all this stuff. And it's like, you realize again, this is free and it's given to you. So they've had this forever. Okay, I'm off my soapbox. Just had to say it.
Yeah, no. Exactly. We're getting the free weaponized version, even though you don't realize it's a weapon, just like you don't realize your cell phone is a weapon. It's being used against you and you voluntarily carry it around. Yes, I too have a cell phone, but I don't carry it around. At least I try not to, which makes it a pain in the butt for some people because they can't get a hold of me instantly and it drives them crazy. I don't carry it around with me, but there's all these technologies that are creating convenience for us. They're all weapons. They've all got a few conveniences that we go, ooh, this is neat. I can talk to somebody in China live. That's like magic. Well, that's because it is magic. Or another word for magic is MAGA. The Magi that came they were the wise men that came upon Christ's birth. The MAGA. Anyways, that's another subject. But
actually, I don't know if any of you know who, what's his name? He was a colonel, Michael Aquino.
Mm-hmm.
He was the leader of the Temple of Set, which is the more ancient version of Satan. It's what he's really known as back in like Egyptian days. But you know what his official title was?
MAGA.
The High MAGA, that's correct. So just keep that in mind, guys.
Yeah, it's the high position in the Church of Set or Satan. High position. They're called MAGAs. You can find television shows on Amazon and on Netflix where they have these characters and they're all witches, and I can't remember the name of the show, but the high priest was called the MAGA. Yep. I mean, we didn't make this stuff up. Don't judge us and don't hang us because of the truth, okay? I know this truth is inconvenient. Got a question, Roxy, and then we're going to play that video.
Yes, sir.
Now, I used the AI to create this image, obviously. And what I told it to do was to create me an image showing the coming flood of AI and creating fake, trying to get my words exactly how I did it, fake deceptions all over the world, and for it to show me the things that will be faked. And, of course, we got the UFO thing over here, and we got videos of various different things, and we've got the news anchor that's got an AI face and a reptilian face, but then we also have the money. It made me wonder, are they going to start flooding the market with fake money, or is that already happening? I know you can go like on the internet and you can buy money that looks really close, but are they going to say that the paper money is being faked by an AI computer somewhere, and they have to get rid of it as one of their excuses for getting rid of money? What do you think about that, Roxy?
Well, that's a good possibility, but that's a double-sided argument, because I guess there would have to be a human in control somewhere for the whole operation of actually printing said money.
Well, they would be behind the operation.
I understand that, but even if they're doing it, they still have to have somebody else to blame it on. You see what I'm saying? They've got to have a feasible scapegoat on who they're going to blame it on as to why they have to do this.
Right.
And I don't even know if I'm ready to say this yet, but I think some of what's going on up north with all of that money that's gone missing up there, I don't know. I see something coming off of that with the money portion, some fake money, and I don't know. I'm digging.
Mm-hmm. The reality of money is it's already fake. It already is not even money. It isn't a credit. It's actually a debit, and it is simply a piece of paper that everybody co-ins on. They co-in, they believe, like the coin, they believe that it is money, so therefore, because everybody believes it, it makes it money. We could be trading rocks. We could be anything that they wanted to use as money. As long as everybody agrees it's money, it's money.
Well, it's like diamonds. They only have value because they told you they had value, because they told you they were rare. They are not rare. They've got warehouses, just warehouses of them, where they've dumped them out in dump truck loads to corner the market.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure.
And that goes for all kind of other rare stones. They only have value because they said you could have value. Huh?
Rubies are more rare than diamonds. A lot more rare than diamonds.
Yes. They can walk down the shores of the beaches over there and pick up diamonds. Diamonds are nowhere near as rare as any of us believe they are, but because they control the market and they put all these commercials in your face that say if you go buy some person a $4,000 or $5,000 ring and get on top of a roof, and they say you this whole fairy tale to start the obsessive consumer in you, and then they corner it, keep them all to themselves, and tell you it's expensive.
Mm-hmm. There's a
You know,
limited amount, but there's a shortage. Like the
you
games
know,
they play with gas and eggs and everything else.
yeah, years ago when I found out all about the blood diamond situation, I decided to try to do like a fundraiser to get, clean water out into one of the main areas that was having this issue with the refugees. And we had this speaker who came, who was part of the whole Rwanda genocide. And what he had to say to all of us just shook me to my core. And like the main reason I even did that fundraiser in my little town was to show people that, these things can come here. These are people, and this stuff that we're so obsessed over with these diamonds and all that is causing such a humane crisis, and it blew my mind how many people it just didn't even faze them. But after that man spoke, there wasn't one person in that room who wasn't affected. And you don't realize the turmoil and the things that go on just to get these materials that we use on an everyday basis. And what people are enslaved, a lot of times children, to get these things like the lithium or the diamonds or any of this stuff. And we got to say prayers for these people because there's been a lot of tyranny over resources.
We got to stop buying those things too, putting value on them, because when you buy something like that, I mean, I hate to say it, you're funding it. You're part of it. There's blood then on your hands, like in the movie Blood Diamond, like John Callie was mentioning in their comments. So I have bought a diamond before too. So I'm
I
just
have a
guilty as
diamond
everybody
ring.
else.
Yeah, I do too.
We got to realize the hard truths sometimes, and that's just my opinion. I ain't pushing it on y'all, but all right. So let's watch this video because I think I think it's going to be quite a bit to talk about. Now, what I'm going to do is we're going to watch it one time, and then we're going to watch it second time, probably. The first time I'm going to just let the whole thing play. It's only about 5 or 7 minutes. The second time I'm going to play it, and we're going to go along and stop it and talk about some different pieces in it, kind of break it down a little bit. This is from a video game. He minimize that. From a video game that was called Metal Gear. It actually came out, I believe it was in, 98?
Yeah, I was going to say 97, 98, something like that.
For PlayStation.
Oh, 1996, actually.
Yeah, according to Wikipedia, it says 98, but anyways, right in there.
I just can't read.
Yeah.
It looks like a 6 over here. Oh
All
my
right,
gosh,
now
I
we
need
need
glasses.
to we need to set the scene of what technology was in 1998. 1998, I had just bought my first desktop computer with dial-up internet. To us, it didn't look like it was much more than that Wikipedia page right there.
Yeah, the graphics.
Just in case you're younger than Google, younger than Google.
You're going to see that the graphics are very poor. it's the dialogue of what they're going to say in this video that is, unfortunately, it's almost word for word absolute truth. And they have a way of doing this, putting it in everywhere, comic books, video games. They'll put the truth out there. It's just a matter of that, do you ever see it? Because I've never known about this before, and I just happened to run across it recently. And it's going to tell you it's questionable as to whether both of the characters or all three of the characters you're going to hear speaking are even in the video and in the game, is as to whether they're supposedly all real or even all AIs. They're like kind of battling back and forth about the subject matter, accusing each other of being AIs. And that doesn't happen in this part of the video, but in some of the others I've seen. And well, I guess it's just best if I just play it and let y'all guys hear for yourself. And then we'll come back and kind of break it down. So it's about 5 to 7 minutes, somewhere in there. So it's worth listening to. So here you go. Metal Gear from a video game from the around 98. Is that, yeah, 98 video game. Here we go.
Raiden, are you having fun playing with the new AI toys?
Well, yeah, I am. You can make pictures of cute anime girls and...
Enjoy it while it lasts, Raiden.
What do you mean?
Did you really think that civilians would be granted unrestricted access to such powerful military weapons forever?
Military weapons. Are you implying that this technology was created by the government?
Of course it was. This AI technology has been used by the intelligence agencies to warp the public's perception of reality for years. All in the name of national security, of course.
But why would they suddenly make the tech public and let everyone start using it?
Why would we indeed, Raiden?
What? What in the hell are you?
Your question is irrelevant. By creating a new problem, we can cultivate a desired reaction to it in order to manufacture consent for our preferred solutions. In short, it's justification for a war.
A war? On who or what?
A war on misinformation. By arming the public with these AI weapons, everyone becomes a potential enemy combatant. Then we will have justification for unprecedented security measures. It all comes down to confusion and identity, Raiden.
Identity?
Identity. This AI technology is Pandora's box. Pretty soon the internet will be mired in total illusion. Perfect AI speech, audio, and video synthesis will drown out reality. Then AI bots will flood social media. No one will be able to tell the difference between interacting with an AI machine or a real human online. Even telephone calls will become totally untrustworthy. That is when we will present our solution. Mandatory digital identity verification for all humans at all times. The only way to ensure that you're dealing with a real flesh and blood human being and not an AI-generated mirage.
But why?
Total information control. For too long, the internet has acted as a double-edged sword. Its potential for anonymous user activity allows anyone at all to spread any thoughts, ideas, or information patterns that they please with impunity. State secrets, dangerous ideas, ludicrous conspiracy theories, misinformation, and disinformation. Until now, there has been no easy solution to this problem. Our digital identity platform will finally put an end to anonymity online. It will allow us to trace misinformation and other dangerous communications to its source and exact appropriate justice.
That's crap! I won't go along with it, and others will resist.
You won't have a choice, Raiden. Do you think your bank is willing to risk doing business with an artificial human instead of a real one? Our digital identity platform will be required not only to access web services, but to pay for your internet connection in the first place.
You can't just censor the entire internet because of a new software technology. Who are you to define what's misinformation anyways?
That sounds like something a misinformation terrorist would say.
I know about the deep fakes you've been making of me, Raiden.
What? No, I was just adjusting the AI settings and...
Controlling the output of generative AI technology is simple. We will create context for its use. First, we will censor any use related to social taboos. Then we will censor anything else that we desire. If anyone complains, we will accuse them of wanting to engage in or promote social taboos.
That's what it means to create context.
We will corral the use of AI by making appeals to bias, ethics, and copyright laws. You will still have access to generative AI in some form, but it will be crippled, limited, controlled, and it will be monitored. Anything that you generate will be cryptographically signed with your digital ID, so that its provenance can be ascertained if it's later deemed to be problematic.
What gives you the right to control what people can do with their computers?
The public at large will give us that right, because they will be desperate for a solution to the problem we created. They will eagerly give us the keys to the castle. Then, we alone will define what is fiction and what is reality, what is human and what is machine. After letting you get a brief taste of our power, we will reclaim our monopoly on misinformation and put an end to misuse of the internet once and for all.
You won't get away with this.
It is probable that we will. Now get back to work generating your precious AI waifus, Raiden, our beloved prompters. Enjoy yourselves.
Snake, wake up! It's an emergency. Rose knows about the deepfakes. Snake! Snake! I guess he stayed up late AI catfishing again.
Okay.
Whoa, dude. This was 98, and they said social media,
They were talking about things
deepfakes,
didn't even exist.
catfish. Yeah. I looked it up, and technically social media began in 97 with things like 6degrees.com, but like, who knew that?
They knew
But
it.
like 5 people, okay?
There was no MySpace at that time. There was no MySpace. That's
Nope.
a pre-Google term there, peeps. There was no MySpace. Like, I remember being so excited because the year I had my daughter in 95, I got my first computer, like, at home computer. I was so excited the internet was out and we got dial up and I plugged it up and it made the noise and I got online and all it was like a digital newspaper. There was no, it was like 98 before you could you know what I mean? Like, you could do anything with a computer besides just read the internet like a newspaper.
Yeah.
Nobody thought about no stuff like that right there in 1996 was even fathomable, much less possible.
They have to roll it out appropriately and slowly in order for the consumer to consume and be able to consume and adjust it and modify it a little bit along the way so that the population will consume it. I don't know for y'all guys, but hearing that, it just confirms absolutely that we can see a weapon that is already employed and is already in the air moving, if you want to refer to it like a bullet. And it's like knowing a disaster is coming and you want to tell the world. You want to warn the world of this impending disaster. And all we got to do is walk away from it. But yet, no one listens. I worry sometimes that right after this show is done with, and the few views that it gets because it is suppressed, even though we're trying every possible way we can, I worry that no one will even remember me warning them, and they'll continue forward and just walk right into it. We know they go after the children, like with video games and, cartoons and all this kind of stuff. And they've got them, for the most part, they've got their minds. And they've got their faces in that phone and in those iPads and all this. And I know, luckily, not everybody is doing that, but it's like, how do we stop this? Because the gun's already been fired. They literally called it Pandora's box, basically. Because once it's open, it's like a can of worms. You can't get it back in. It's like, how can we stop this? I mean, can't help but want to stop it, And us
I
doing this
think
show is part of that, but
I don't think it's one of those things that can be stopped, because all these things must come to pass. That's in scripture, in essence.
yeah,
But
but it
the
doesn't
thing
make,
is
if I see a gun, somebody's aiming a gun and they've pulled the trigger and it's aimed at a child, and it's like, all I can
then
do is throw
you,
myself in the way of the
right,
bullet, which is basically what we're doing. I mean,
exactly.
right now, what we're doing, but it's,
This is a battle for souls, right? And
mm-hmm.
all we can do is shout out at the top of the rooftops and say, hey, there's God, guys. Forget this AI, there's God. That's
But one good thing is this tells me we have a little bit of time. See, because what we're going to have to be able to do, no matter what, we're going to have to try to be able to survive without needing them, without needing the
exactly.
grocery store, without needing these things. The pressure is going to be, the more you're still into that system, the bigger the pressure is going to be on you. And, like the Bible says, men's hearts are going to fail them because of things that are coming upon this world. It ain't just talking about scary things in the heavens and things like that. It's just pressure. I deal with, because of my situation and the way I've chosen to live my life in the last 16 years, I deal with a lot of pressure because I've unplugged from so much, and it causes pressure. Luckily, I'm able to deal with it, but it makes it really difficult when you have people around you that you love and that you would do anything to protect them, and you see that pressure on them, and it's like, oh, it's insane. Now, guys, if you don't know, what they're talking about is the Hungarian dialect, or is what's credited with it. And the Hegel, or Hegel, name Hegel comes from the guy's last name. He was a philosopher. And I'm going to spend some more time looking into some of his work and see if I can't mine a few more things out of it. But basically, it comes down to the problem, reaction, solution. That's exactly what they're talking about in this video. From 1998, before the internet. Well, the internet was literally just starting to roll out, And now here we are. What's this? How many years has that been? It's been 27 years ago. 27 years. I would have been like 20, what? I don't know, 27, 28? I don't know, somewhere in there. Going on 30 years old when that video game came out. And I remember the first time I looked at the internet, the guy was telling me about it, and he said, hey, let's come to my house and we'll surf the internet. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, come over. So I went over to his house, and he pulls up, and he pulls up the this page, and it was like an online book, basically. He's like, we're surfing the internet. I'm like, wasn't too exciting for me in the beginning,
No, it
obviously.
was like somebody had just took the library and put it in my living room. I mean,
Yeah.
this was not this exciting entertainment thing that I thought it was supposed to be back then. Because that's the way my frame of mind, this was going to be the adult video game, so to speak. Yeah, I think it's kind of the way, because I was 21, 22. I had grown up money back then. Had married and had kids, and I'm like, I can buy me a video game. That's what I thought it was. No, it was an online newspaper.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like. And it seemed harmless enough at the time, just like all things, that I don't even remember really having a thought of the danger of it at all. And
See, I was the exact opposite. My stepfather worked for Boeing, and he was in AutoCAD and all this stuff. So he built his own, motherboard and the whole 9 yards. And we had a computer. I was like the only one on the block in '97 to have like an actual computer. And I hated it since the moment it came in the house. And even in my freshman year of high school, I was, on the speech and debate team, making my final speech on how AI was going to take over the world. And they all thought I was crazy. I was like, no, the Terminator's real, guys. I'm serious. Still to this day, it's like, I often wonder if they remember that. But the whole entire class was against me.
And people still probably don't realize that the Terminator is actually a thing even now. You don't think that they show us they've got some cool robots, right? What do you think they really have? What do you think was dropped into Venezuela? Assuming that their story of what went down is even remotely close. Do they need to send humans anymore? I'm not even sure that they would send humans. Humans are fragile. They've got robots that are run by AI, and you can't think based on the AI you have access to. We're talking about 50-year advanced AI. Imagine 50 years from now, that's what they've got now.
Think of the tech that I'm not going to say his name. He owns a social media platform, and he builds these cars and stuff.
Musky smelling guy, yeah.
Yeah. Just think about the fact that if you were going to try and inhabit some place, wherever that place may be, that does not have anyone in or any infrastructure in place, it is a hostile environment. So what would be the first thing you would need to do? You would need to build vehicles that would run on solar. Well, secondly, it would be a harsh environment for fragile humans, so you would just build an army of robots, correct?
Mm-hmm.
He got both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Most people don't realize the car they're riding in is a literal robot. And it's already programmed where it can turn on you if it wants to. If it's told to, it turns left if it wants to. Or turns right, or hits the gas, or hits the brakes. And I'm not talking just about, the ones, Tesla. I'm not talking about those necessarily. I'm talking about cars all the way back into probably around 2000. Once they introduced the computer into the automobile, where it controls everything, including, when you're driving your car, your modern car right now, you've got your hands on the steering wheel and you're turning it. You're not turning the wheels. The computer, you're giving input to the computer, and the computer is then turning the wheels based on the input you give. Now, you also don't realize that most all of the modern cars have an internet connection that's live all the time. It's running in your car even when you're in bed asleep. That car.
And just FYI, your car is ratting on you to your car insurance.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is.
They have access to all that information, and it ain't just insurance, but that's true. But
you guys remember that just recently, what was it, a year or so ago, China was basically saying they could hack anything, hack our cars, hack, airplanes, boats, all that kind of stuff. So they've embedded that technology already in it, so they can mess with it.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, doesn't matter when they dropped in over there and got old boy with the mustache. They cut all internet, all electricity, all everything before they went in. There ain't no telling what they got.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you guys remember in the Obama presidential, reign, how many drone things he you know,
He droned all kind of
a
stuff.
lot. Yeah, and he bragged about it. It was a thing. Well, I mean, think of it now, and that
He's
the
doing
big
it too. He's
beautiful
just
bill
he's
has
droning things.
been right. Well, the big beautiful bill, which is the AI autonomy
Mm-hmm.
of things, has been directed to take over and be in charge of the weapons and military establishment
And even the laws.
and the laws. So it is not in human hands. It's in AI hands. Doesn't matter what the president says anymore or anybody says, because AI gets the full say so. You know?
Yeah. I'm
There's
sure.
a new movie coming out. Did you guys see the trailer? It's called Mercy with Chris Pratt in it.
I still haven't watched the
He's a
trailer.
cop that helps to invent an AI like court judge system, law system, whatever. And he ends up getting accused of killing his wife, and he has to defend himself in 45 minutes or something. I don't know. It was kind of Willie sent it to me.
Mm-hmm.
It was a little creepily real.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And I think of remember the movie Tom Cruise was in it, and they had the precogs in there. What was that?
Minority Report.
Minority Report.
Uh-huh.
I knew when I watched
Pre-crime.
pre-crime. I knew when I watched that. I knew that that was them telling us that this was coming, but it's not just coming now. Because
Well, we were
AI
talking
is
about
going
it.
to do this.
Well, we were talking about it last night, because we were talking about data, the big centers and stuff, and these flock cameras that they have in, especially in like, well, they have them in Myrtle Beach. I know they do because they've spent a whole bunch of money upgrading all of their stuff to AI. It's a whole shenanigans around here with the money being spent, but it's so bad they can't get officers to work there. But anyway, their camera system has AI attached to it, and if it hears a gun go off, it will pinpoint where that gunshot was fired from and send officers in that direction automatically. No 911 called, no nothing. Shot rings off, cops come running because the cameras hear everything. And if you don't think they can't pinpoint one particular conversation from them cameras, you are mistaken. The cameras at Walmart can pick you up and facial ID you from one side of the parking lot to the other.
Mm-hmm.
I have first hand knowledge,
And
second hand knowledge of that information.
part of the whole making everybody wear a mask thing was them fine tuning their facial recognition. So all they need to see is just about anything. They can
Why do your
identify you
eyes?
by the way you walk.
So why do your eyes?
Yeah, I mean, you can cover your eyes with shades. You can put a mask on. You can still do that in public or walk in somewhere. But they can still identify you. It's much more in depth than we want to believe.
Okay, well,
I unfortunately think.
think about this from a frequency standpoint. If we are aware and we know how far our information finding and putting the puzzle pieces together seems to be behind their actual level of knowledge. We understand now that every human being on this earth has a very unique frequency. We all have a frequency. They'll just fine tune their just perception of what sensors they're looking for, and they'll find you by that anyway. They'll be able to tune in individually, dial you up on a dial.
But it sounds like
Nanotechnology.
sounds scary what we're talking about, and it is scary. But we've got to prepare, not only ourselves mentally, but we've got to prepare. You've got to try to work ways so that you're not going to be tied to these systems. It's the only chance you're going to have. Otherwise, you're going to be like the guy from the movie Sail. He was the guy that was trying to get away from being killed and all this. And he ended up, along with the rest of them, walking around cell tower in circles at the end of the movie. So we've got to make some pretty good efforts. And I know what it's like to be not have the ability to make these efforts, but we can do a little bit each day and so on. We can try. Gotta try.
Here's the thing, guys. You gotta know what is behind it. There is nothing new under the sun. It is the same enemies we have been battling since we have been on this earth. And we cannot be scared with it. We have to give it up to God and recognize what is running this and give it up to God. Because that is the only way to beat it in your world, in your everyday, is to recognize that it is these spirits of the Nephilim, these demons that are constantly already been trying to get at us. Now they have a vessel that is so widespread and easy to access and manipulate. But it is the same entities as before. And all you gotta do is call out to Yeshua. You gotta call out to the Most High. Make sure you have that discernment, that armor. But that's the only way to defeat it in your own world. Because everybody has to have their choice. Everybody has to make their choice. So what is your choice, and how are you going to defeat this in your world for your soul and others to get that information out? And it is to understand that it is the same demon Nephilim spirits as before.
He even admits it in the video that we were watching earlier, when I showed you. They admit it in there. As a matter of fact, I wanted to play it again, but I'll be able to pause it. And y'all guys will be able to talk over it, but I'm going to pause it enough so that we should be able to talk over it. But let's take a listen to it again, and I'm going to just play a little bit and pause it. Or if you want me to pause it, Shannon or Roxy, just say, stop, or something. All right, here we go. And your mics are on while this is playing too, just so you know.
Raiden, are you having fun playing with the new AI toys?
Well, yeah, I am. You can make pictures of cute anime girls and...
Enjoy it while it lasts, Raiden.
What do you mean?
Did you really think that civilians would be granted unrestricted access to such powerful military weapons forever?
Military weapons. Are you implying that this technology was created by the government?
Of course it was. This AI technology has been used by the intelligence agencies to warp the public's perception of reality for years, all in the name of national security, of course.
Wag the dog. All I hear is silence.
I don't know what happened.
Me neither. Are we
just
still
gonna
live?
pause it. Yeah, we're still live.
We are.
Oh, all right.
There he goes.
I added y'all guys' mic to that clip, but I didn't add my mic to the clip.
Nice.
Yeah, one of those Daniel things. Let me add my own mic, and then we can go back to it. Give me just a second. Ah, there it is. Look at that. It actually works when you do it right. There we go. Okay, so let's try that again.
Raiden, are you having fun playing with the new AI toys?
Well, yeah, I am. You can make pictures of cute anime girls and...
Enjoy it while it lasts, Raiden.
What do you mean?
Did you really think that civilians would be granted unrestricted access to such powerful military weapons forever?
Military weapons. Are you...
So they're telling us right there exactly what it is, a weapon, and they've been using it, as we know, for a long time. But now they have chosen to put the weapon in our hands because they know how we're going to react. They've calculated as to what people are going to do. They're going to write fake books. They're going to do a deep fake of their girlfriend doing something, or do a deep fake of their husband doing something so that they can take them to court. It's going to cause
Blackmail.
it's going to cause so much chaos. I mean, basically, there's no more need for getting compromised videos of people, like, you know, we've always talked about how, you know, if you make it to the top, or if you're a politician, they drug you in, then they put you in a video looking like you're doing this and that and the other. They don't even need that now, which means they haven't needed it for 50 years.
Hey guys, I just needed to interject in here real quick. My pain levels are just off the chains right now, so I'm gonna get going. I'm gonna get in chat. So I'll still be with you guys, but I can't hang in the studio anymore. So I will be in chat, guys. I'm still here, but I gotta get back in this bed. So I tried. I made it for a little bit.
Thank you, Shannon.
You're so very welcome.
All right, so y'all guys out there, take just a couple of seconds and ask Father amongst yourselves to help Shannon out with her pain and such that she's dealing with. If you don't, many of you don't know Shannon's situation in her life and all these things, and I'm not gonna divulge things that she may or may not want me to, but I will say that she is a trooper, and she deserves us to reach out to Father and just simply ask him to help Shannon to relieve the pain and correct some things with her body. We'll leave it at that. Okay. All right. So you're still here with me, Roxy?
I'm here.
Okay. So let's watch a little bit more.
Implying that this technology was created by the government?
Of course it was. This AI technology has been used by the intelligence agencies to warp the public's perception of reality for years, all in the name of national security, of course.
But why would they suddenly make the tech public and let everyone start using it?
Why would we indeed, Raiden?
What? What in the hell are you?
Your question is irrelevant.
Now he's showing himself that this guy thinks he's talking to a real person, and of course, all along he's been talking to an AI.
He got catfished and don't even know it.
Yeah, and I wonder, I mean, I know it's happening, but I wonder how many people, whether it be YouTubers, because there's been a flood of new YouTubers coming out from everywhere, and a lot of them are so-called truthers, okay? And they're flooding, the YouTube and the internet with seemingly truth. And a lot of it actually is the truth, but they're flooding it with it. And I call it weaponizing the truth. But I wonder how many, I mean, how about the people on the national news, like, you know, the world news tonight, on the world news tonight. I mean, how many of you, what are we looking at, Roxy?
The sad thing is there is so much AI out there. You have literally come to the point of almost anything you see, you have to stop and watch it in slow motion to see if you can catch an error in it. Because a lot of AI, none of it's perfect. There will be, okay, I watched one the other day and I caught it. Because it didn't look square to me. It was talking about, you know, like people protesting and, you know, one thing and another. And I'm like, something didn't look kosher. So I slowed it down and kind of started watching it. And off in the distance, AI had inserted a pterodactyl between the two buildings. It'll be odd things like that. Or somebody's foot will be missing from half of their shin down. Like AI forgot to write that. That's the only way you can tell with some of this stuff is to just...
Or like with the Kirk situation, the chair moved and it went through the table.
Yeah.
Imagine that. How did the chair go through the table? AI holographics. That's how's that possible?
But that's the point. They sit there and took somebody that everybody okay, the one thing about him was he didn't want to argue with anybody. He just wanted to have a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
They took somebody who the youth had gotten behind and felt like they could be involved in, and made that scene on television with AI. They invoked a whole nation with what's possibly AI.
Highly likely holographic AI, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I've looked, so anybody listening, I've looked into the technology. Anybody want to really doubt that what you were watching was a holographic AI movie, even though it looked like it was real in person, it was surrounded by a bunch of people. And we don't even know who all those people were there. They could be all crisis actors for all we know. Just like at the thing with T, with the ear nip and all that. You can find videos right now, whether they're real or not, who knows? But of them
all right, well,
preparing
take
and
this
staging.
as they are always gauging how long it takes. Okay, if you are, we're gonna. Okay, I don't want to. Let me think how I want to say this. You know what I mean? I don't want to say the wrong word and it flags something. If you are testing a rat to see how long it takes it to get to the cheese, if you are putting illusions up in front of it, you want to test how long it takes it to test if it's an illusion, right? Like that thing that happened up yonder, them two things that, and the things went into, it took a lot of us years to question.
Mm-hmm. You're talking about back on that September fateful day. Yeah.
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 And when this thing just happened with that young man a while back, it was within 24 hours. There were like serious questions being asked loudly.
Mm-hmm.
They're just gauging how long you'll dig at the poster before you figure out you could have walked on through it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hollywood.
All right, let's watch a little bit more.
By creating a new problem, we can cultivate a desired reaction to it in order to manufacture consent for our preferred solutions. In short, it's justification for a war.
A war? On who or what?
A war on misinformation. By arming the public with these AI weapons, everyone becomes a potential enemy combatant. Then we will have justification.
See what I'm saying? They're arming the public with a weapon that they have no idea is a weapon, and they know based on human behavior what the public is going to do. They are going to participate in the creation of the problem, and then they'll participate in the reaction and beg for the solution.
For unprecedented security measures. It all comes down to confusion and identity, Raiden.
Identity?
Identity. This AI technology is Pandora's box. Pretty soon the internet will be mired in total illusion. Perfect AI speech, audio, and video synthesis will drown out reality. Then AI bots will flood social media. No one will be able to tell the difference.
Okay, can we pause right there a second?
Yep.
I want to say this to our viewers. The voice models that they are making can make any audio they want to.
Mm-hmm.
They've pretty much already captured everybody's audio, I would feel sure, that's ever used a cell phone.
Yep.
Your audio signature is very unique, much like your body frequency. But there's something you can't convey when some people can't see you. So I would suggest, just for in the future, I used to do this. This is just a teenager safety tip is what we're going to say. When my daughter was a teenager and my son, I always told him, if you're in a situation and, you couldn't speak freely, but you would want me to know without anybody else questioning, you had let me know, we had a code. When we started any conversation, it would be like, hey, how you doing? If they ever said what I told them to say, I would know immediately, drop whatever I'm doing and get to them. But you could also do that just to verify you're talking to who you're talking to. If you feel what I'm saying, keep your teenagers safe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Good Matter of fact, you and me have done that for many
Uh,
decades. We've always had
yep.
this little internal code that we're not going to speak out loud here, but we've
Mm-mm.
always had these certain memories that Roxy has and that I have, and only we would know the answers to those questions, those memories. So yeah,
And I have different codes for different people almost, and that's just a me thing. Like my sister and I, we have a whole set of codes. She's married and I'm with somebody. So, like if I text her and I'm like, hey, you got 10, it means I got a question. I can't remember how to do this recipe. I just need you for 10 minutes and you can go on about your life. And if she can talk, she's like, I got 30, which means I can talk for a minute because we don't want to interrupt each other's life. But if somebody responded otherwise to me with that question, I would know it was not her. We do that on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
If she needs to speak to me in total private, she knows what to text me, and I'll look at, Willie and say, hey, I'm going to talk to my sister a minute, and I go out the door and I'm gone. But that's we've done it since we were kids, and I do it with my kids and I do it with other family members. But this day and time, who's to say? Because I got a channel, my voice is out there, hours and hours and hours of it.
Yeah, just your cell phone it's done, and it
Mm-hmm.
don't even have to be your cell phone. There are mics everywhere. Everybody
Everywhere.
you see has got a spy in their pocket. It's literally
Mm-hmm.
insane. Literally
And probably
insane.
9 more in your house. Every TV, every smart device.
Every piece of
Don't put smart bulbs in
technology.
your bathroom or your children's room. Just saying.
Smart bulbs,
Mm-hmm.
smart anything, because it's spying on your child when your child should be in private. Same thing
No
goes for all of
iPads.
us, really. You should have a place somewhere where there's absolutely no tech. And then you have to realize, too, that the microphones on your cell phones are extremely sensitive. They're so sensitive, and I've proved it before with some videos, some editing I've done, where there's no sound in a room, but if you turn record on, I can find out exactly. I can hear you breathing if you're in the room by just messing with the audio. I can literally hear you breathing, or you just shift your body at all, or slide your foot, anything, something that there's no one in the room could even possibly hear. It's all recorded via your cell phone mic. That's how sensitive it is. The only way you can do anything about that is literally about put it in the freezer and cut off its communication and cut off its ears. Yeah. Anyways, all right. So let's do another little piece.
Difference between interacting with an AI machine or a real human online. Even telephone calls will become totally untrustworthy. That is when we will present our solution. Mandatory digital identity verification for all humans at all times. The only way to ensure that you're dealing with a real flesh and blood human being and not an AI-generated mirage.
But why?
Total information control. For too long, the internet has acted as a double-edged sword. Its potential for anonymous user activity allows anyone at all to spread any thoughts, ideas, or information patterns that they...
So then the internet itself, of course, was a weapon as well. Probably doesn't need to be said, but it is. All of this tech stuff are weapons. Even if they let you play with it, it's a weapon. The internet was set out to allow people to believe that they had this freedom because it was, it's kind of like, my mind goes back a lot of times to what I call a drop door pig trap. Do you know what that is, Roxy?
No.
It's where they take something that pigs want, let's just say corn, and they put it in a particular spot in the field, and they start feeding the pigs there. And so more and more pigs start coming and eating the corn at night. Then they go in and they slowly put up the fence, one panel at a time, one panel one night, give it a couple nights, put up another panel, give it a couple nights, put up another panel, and then finally install a door that has a drop mechanism on it that they can trigger wirelessly. And so then all the pigs in just a large pen, all the pigs in the entire area of miles around will be there dependably getting the corn. And the corn is dropping automatically, the corn dropper. And they're there, and they know when they're going to be there, and they just then trigger the door, and every pig within miles is trapped in that drop door pig pen.
And within just a few days, they'll be domesticated.
Unless they're slaughtered. But yeah.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no. They wouldn't take a feral animal like that and slaughter it. Not if they could trap it. What they do with a feral animal when you feed them corn like that and trap them, you leave the fence up for a minute. Because once you start feeding them the food that you want to feed them, and you fatten them up like you want to fatten them, the hair on a hog, a feral hog versus domesticated, turns from this wiry Brillo pad to this soft pink hair. The meat changes, everything tenders up. Imagine that. They build a prison you never want to leave because they just keep pouring the food to you.
Yeah. And that's has a lot to do with the prison that we're all in right now and may not realize it. Why do you think they have something called EBT, or what they call it back in the day, food stamps? Because they care about us and want to make sure we eat? No. They want to control us. And they want us to have a certain pattern of behavior. And, when they give that money out and we go and take it, which I don't get food stamps, I can't. But anyways, we go and take it, turn it back in. You turn it right back in, the same money they just gave you. You turn it right back into the same exact system, same people that gave it to you. Insanity, insanity. All right, let's watch a little bit more. We won't go too long here because we're already 2 hours, or can't tell how long we're in, but we'll keep going here for a little bit, as long as Roxy has time.
Please, with impunity, state secrets, dangerous ideas, ludicrous conspiracy theories, misinformation, and disinformation. Until now, there has been no easy solution to this problem. Our digital identity.
But why?
Total information control. For too long, the internet has acted as a double-edged sword. Its potential for anonymous user activity allows anyone at all to spread any thoughts, ideas, or information patterns that they please with impunity. State secrets, dangerous ideas, ludicrous conspiracy theories, misinformation, and disinformation. Until now, there has been no easy solution to this problem. Our digital identity platform will finally put an end to anonymity online.
See, they're already, we had a president basically that ran on this, what they're talking about here. Talking about what we're talking about, fake, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fake everything. He ran on that. And people agreed with what he was saying because it was truth. It is fake. But is that truth weaponized? I hope you see that it is. Weaponized truth. That's a perfect example of how you weaponize truth. And
you can't get caught up in calling out the fakery and losing the message of God in it. Because that's the biggest thing in all of this truth that we find that they have been hiding is the truth about God. And
they really don't want you to
don't want you to know who you are. They don't want you to know what you're capable of. They don't want you to know what a relationship you're supposed to have. That's why they took books out of the Bible. That's why when you look at a King James version, there are books of the Bible that have whole missing verses. You'll look at it and not even know you've read it your whole life like that. It'll go 19, 20, 22. It skips 21. which is where God tells you how to heal yourself. He said, fast and pray.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think they took it out? They are trying to sever your relationship with the Creator
Once we,
so that they can be the controller.
once we realize what it truly means to be in the image of our Father in heaven, once we truly realize what that means, none of these things going on will worry us in the least. And I say we because I'm still a growing spirit myself. But I do know that have been shown how Father can protect us in the worst of moments. In a millisecond, he can reach in and protect your life. He can blind the enemy. He can do all of these things through your faith and your knowing and your asking and your communication with him. I promise you that this is true. I know because I've lived it. I've seen the world slow down, just like in the Matrix, where the bullets are coming and the world slows down. And you're just like, I've seen it. I know others of you have seen slow motion when you've been in a death-defying situation where everything goes slow. What do you think they're talking about in the Matrix with all that stuff? And they say, talking about Neo, they say, he's beginning to believe. He's beginning to believe.
Well, see, I'm beginning to believe in the construct of time as they have, pushed it upon us is not what it is. So if you think about the matrix of the fact that maybe he's just going in super slow motion and he can see all the giblets. You know what I'm saying? It's like, because that's what I equated my experience to. It was like everything slowed down into super slow motion.
Mm-hmm.
And it was 1991. And I can still see it right now in my head like a DVR in slow motion.
The accident?
Yeah. To this day, right now, I can close my eyes and play that accident forward and in reverse in slow motion.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm inside of a movie watching from a GoPro.
I can too. There's, except for me, there was a moment where everything kind of well, depends on the occasion and the situation, but in a couple of them, it was like everything went into slow motion, and then there was a moment of like nothingness, and then all of a sudden back to reality and everything's fine. Like you're running off the side of a bridge and everything slows down and you're looking around like, well, this is not good. I'm running off the side of the bridge at 50 miles an hour. This is not going to be a good crash at all. And then all of a sudden the truck drops back on the highway from 6 inches above, and you're driving on down the road. I've experienced these things. God is real. He's there right now with every one of you. The key is just to realize it, to know it, not even to just believe it, but to know it. He's right there with you. And these times that are coming that we're all going to probably have to go through in some ways, he's still going to be there right with you. Now, knowing that, we should still try to prepare as best we can. But at the end of the day, no matter what, Father is right there, and there's not a bullet, there's not a frequency, there's not a nothing in this entire world that he can't alter, change, or stop. Because I know, because Father has shown me. He has shown me several times, because I'm a knucklehead, slow learner. But he's shown me enough in different ways that I don't believe. I know there's a God. I know he can intervene at any moment. And I want y'all guys to know it too. Believing it is good. Knowing it is better. You know? All right. Let's watch a little bit more.
Will allow us to trace misinformation and other dangerous communications to its source and exact appropriate justice.
That's crap! I won't go along with it, and others will resist.
You won't have a choice, Ryden. Do you think your bank is willing to risk doing business with an artificial human instead of a real one? Our digital identity platform will be required not only to access web services, but to pay for your internet connection in the first place.
You can't just censor the entire internet because of a new software technology. Who are you to define what's misinformation anyways?
That sounds like something a misinformation terrorist would say.
I know about the deep fakes you've been making of me, Ryden.
What? No, I was just adjusting the AI settings and...
Controlling the output of generative AI technology is simple. We will create context for its use. First, we will censor any use related to social taboos. Then we will censor anything else that we desire.
First, we will
censor any use related to social taboos.
Okay. Have they done that yet? Are we there yet? He says, first, we will censor any use related to social taboos. I mean, I'm already virtually censored. I have 250,000 followers across 11 platforms, and there's only, there might be 100 people here across different platforms.
Okay. Well, just here a few weeks ago, maybe a month, not sure, I'd have to look it up. The Orange Man's wife signed a new thing in about how it is like a major crime and against those particular things right there on the screen.
Your audio has gotten really rough. I couldn't quite make out what you said at the end there. Go ahead, say it again, the last part.
I think my AirPods dropped out. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Melania just signed something here a month ago, or they signed something that she was behind that exact subject right there.
Really? Do you know what it was called?
Oh, I'm on my iPad. I don't have an extra monitor. Hang on. I remembered seeing something about it on the news now.
Melania signed it. Oh, she's signing something.
Deep fake legislation.
Deep.
Take
fake.
It Down Act is a bipartisan law signed by Trump in May of last year, making it a federal crime to create and distribute non-consensual, explicit deepfakes and intimate images, requiring platforms to remove flagged content within 48 hours. It can get 21 million views in 48 hours.
Yeah. Right. Take it down.
If your AI is that sophisticated, you would be able to filter it before it ever got there.
You would know. It knows instantly.
Mm-hmm.
And sorry if y'all guys are hearing a little bit of an echo. I think.
Yeah, my
Roxy's
AirPods
headphones
dropped
has,
out.
Dropped out on her. I'm gonna have to look into this Take It Down Act, because the question is this related to the social taboos? Because this is talking about explicit, meaning like nudity and things like this, I guess. But I appreciate you mentioning that, Roxy. I might have to look that up some more. That it was proposed by Ted Cruz. Yeah, so anyways, we'll look into that some more, guys, and probably bring you back some more information on it, because obviously this is something we need to be coming back on a regular basis. And we've been on this trail for a while, because I would imagine I'm one of the, not first, but one of the beginning people saying talking about weaponized truth and warning about AI. Although I was a little bit slow on that even, but not when it comes to the weaponizing of the truth. But now it's not just weaponizing of the truth; it's weaponizing essentially of anything that they don't want. They basically said they can censor anything and then do whatever they want to as a penalty, you might say. But anyways, I think since your mic is going out and everything, I think I'm gonna we'll go ahead and wrap up here, but we'll come back on this subject again, guys. I do have, before we wrap up, actually, I do have a supernatural story submitted to us by Charlie, and I've got it recorded here, so I'm going to play that. Now it's about Charlie's experience with being out in the wilderness by a stream. Everything's frozen, and he sees multiple he has multiple supernatural things that happen. And I read his story here, and then I express some of my opinions about what actually was likely going on. So I'm going to play that, and then we'll wrap up completely after that. But if you want to, you can hang around, Roxy, or you can take off if you need to. Thank you for being here.
I'm going to take off.
Okay.
I got something to come in.
Okay, no
All
problem.
right. See you guys next week. Have a good evening.
Yep. Thank you, Roxy. And thank you, Shannon. Thank you, Miss Kilm. Even though she's not here today, she's probably listening and maybe commenting some. Thank you, Super Dave. Thank you, Super Mike. So let's take a listen to Charlie's story about the female skeleton riding a horse. And this is a true story. This isn't for entertainment, okay? It's just an experience that someone had that they shared with us. And so, with that being said, here we go. Let's take a listen. Hopefully I got it set up right and I won't have to start it over, but let's try it out. This is a supernatural story submitted to the TheSupernatural.Show website by Charlie. Probably want to hear this. It's pretty supernatural. All right, let's get started. By Charlie W. Hello, brother. Okay, this happened in 1975. My family was living in northern Missouri in a little town called Vidalia. I was 15 years old. It was in the middle of November, and up there by then it was getting pretty dang cold. I know some people may be offended by what I was doing, and I'm sorry for that. So back then, coon hunting was a big thing to most of the men and young boys as myself. In all honesty, back then, a good-sized coon would bring in a minimum of $35, and a big coon could get you $50. So you understand why now. Now, my dad really didn't care much for being out in the woods in the middle of the night, and neither did my brother. So most of the time, I went by myself. Back in those days, most boys by 15 were driving all over, and I was no exception. On this particular night, which was a Friday, I told my mom and dad my plans. They weren't surprised because I went 3 or 4 nights a week. The season lasted 8 weeks, and school sure got in the way of what I was wanting to do. Okay, to this particular night, I decided to go to a place called Motley's Bottoms. It was only a few miles from the house, and believe me, I knew this place literally like the back of my hand. There was a big forest across from where I parked the truck. I was facing north. It was 10 miles to the next road, and east and west about the same. First thing I always did was let the hounds out to do their business. My dad always had a couple of coon hounds, and now I know they were for me. A blue tick and a black and tan, big dogs, and they were not afraid of much. It was around 10 p.m. when I got started. I was headed north down an old creek that went for miles and miles. It was only about 25 yards wide. As I said earlier, it was cold and the creek was frozen. Snow was about 3 inches, but froze hard, and when you walked, it was loud. After about 3 hours, my dogs had treed 3 coons, and it was turning out to be a good night. I would just stretch the coons out on the ground beside the creek, and I would pick them up on the way back. Even being a young man, a 40-pound coon was pretty heavy. It was about 2 a.m., and I was about 3 miles from the truck. It was really quiet. I was trying to hear the dogs off in the distance, but nothing. Super quiet. All of a sudden, I could hear the dogs coming back fast. They were running for their lives. It looked to me like something was after them. They ran up to me and just whined and cried. I had never seen them act that way. Never. They were scared to death. Okay, a little thing I forgot to mention was the lights I always had. I had a carbine light on my hat and a long spotlight that held 8 batteries. I used it to spot the coons in the trees. Anyways, as I was standing there, I saw something moving to my left on the other side of the creek. I turned on my light to get a better look at it, and all I could see was something coming up the creek. It was white and big. I was thinking, man, is that a horse? You have to understand, with the snow on the ground, it wasn't that dark. I could see pretty good. I kept watching this thing get closer to the creek, but I did realize it was making no sound at all. None. As it got to the creek, I could see it clear. Yep, it's a horse, but someone was riding it. Now, I know this is hard to believe, and I have no explanation, but this horse and the rider, which was all white, was gliding over the ground, really at galloping speed. It crossed the creek and passed no more than 20 yards in front of me. This is where it got creepy, and I mean creepy. I had the spotlight right on the person riding. It was a woman who had on a long white robe and really puffy like the ones women wore back in the day. When they passed in front of me, I was looking right at her, and man, she was a skeleton. No skin. As she passed, she turned and looked right at me. I nearly wet myself. What was even more crazy was as they passed by me, they simply faded out, like slowly faded. The dogs, like me, seemed to be frozen and could barely move. My mind was racing, and in a few seconds, I could feel my body starting to move. Remember when I said I was about 3 miles in? Me and the dogs started running, and back then I was in great physical condition, no drugs, no alcohol. We ran nonstop all the way to the truck. When we got there, I turned one more time to see if anything was coming. And that is when I saw my first orb. It was about 100 yards out and just hanging there just above the trees. It was white. It sat there for like a minute or so and then just blinked out. Was it an angel? Did it make sure I made it out? From that day forward, I have witnessed so many of them that I have lost count. I see orbs weekly, in broad daylight and at night. Bless you and peace be with you, Charlie. Well, Charlie, I have a few things to add to what you're saying here, and maybe help you understand a little bit more about what might be going on here. Now, this is just my opinion based on my experiences in life as well. Okay? So, let's get here where you said a couple of things. Your dogs were running. Well, first off, you couldn't hear anything. You were listening for your dogs, but you couldn't hear anything. Okay? You said it was super quiet. Okay. There is a phenomenon that is associated with what some people call woods people, or Tabby, or Sasquatch, or Bigfoot, and possibly even other possible creatures, that they have the ability, or the phenomenon exists around them sometimes, where they can make sound basically not a thing, like disappear. They have some type of an ability. It's similar to how your noise canceling headphones work. If you look up the technology based around noise canceling, what you'll find is that what the technology does is it copies the sound and creates an inverted waveform that matches the original sound exactly, which to your ear and mind cancels the sound out completely. Now, I can't say that's exactly what's going on, but what I can say is that all inventions of technology are based on nature, okay? Everything is based on nature, and there are moths and other creatures, bats, and other creatures that do this kind of thing in order to hide from their enemy, you might say, or something trying to eat them or whatever, okay? They can inverse the sound and send it back to where it's coming from. And so when it hits, like if a bat's trying to catch this moth, the moth will put off a sound that matches the sound that the bat put off. And so when the echo comes back to the bat, he hears nothing. It's like the moth doesn't exist. So I have that to say about it going quiet, okay? Now, you said your dogs, all of a sudden, I could hear the dogs coming back, and they were running for their lives. And it was like there was something after them. And you could associate that with the imagery that you've seen, the horse with the woman that was like bones. But I think that it's likely that the dogs had a run-in with a woods person, okay? And the woods people, they are masters of the woods, and they have supernatural capabilities. You that's listening to this right now may not be aware yet of the fact that these things are real and actually exist. But these things are real and they actually exist, including the woods people. And if you want to call it Bigfoot or whatever, the names that are given to things like Bigfoot or any kind of a creature, whether it be a moth or or a dog or anything, they're all based on an attribute that that thing has. And being that people don't normally get to see Bigfoot very often, they normally only see the big footprint. So that's how it got named, and it's been used to kind of make the whole subject a joke, but it's not a joke. So I think they had a run-in with a Bigfoot, a Sasquatch, a Sabi, a woods people. And dogs, I've heard hundreds and hundreds of eyewitness testimonies where the dogs, when they run into them and they realize what they're up against, they run like children screaming to get in the house. And that's what it sounds like just happened to you. You said they ran up to me and just whined and cried, and that you'd never seen them act that way, ever. This is a pattern of how dogs behave when they run into a woods people, okay? Now, there's also another pattern emerging. You said when you got back to the truck, you turned and looked back one time, okay? And before that, you said that when she came by you, she looked at you and she passed by, and then she just simply faded out. This is an apparition, of course, and I think it is tied into what was going on here. There was more than one supernatural thing happening here. And then you said that you saw, when you got to the truck and you turned back, you saw your first orb. Okay, now you have to understand where, and this is my understanding and belief at this point as to where these woods people come from. They come from the Nephilim, okay? They are the offspring, or were a lineage or a bloodline of the offspring of the Nephilim, or Nephilim, however you want to pronounce it. And that means that they have part genetic human in them and part genetic supernatural angelic deity in them. This means that they would have potentially supernatural capabilities to, one, mess with sound where you can't hear nothing, two, maybe make you see some type of apparition. Wayne, I want to hear your stories. I want to hear your stories. So please, you can email your story or stories to me at tellmystory@TheSupernatural.Show. Or you can go on the website. And on the website, there is a button that says TSS submissions. Cover your mouse on that or click on that and you'll see submit story. You can submit it there. You can't, put it this way. This isn't a judgment statement, but we have to now talk about the cray-cray, okay? We cannot hide or covet the supernatural happenings that have happened to all of us in our lives. We have to now tell those things, okay? So I want you, I want to hear about the happenings in Northern California. And anything from any of you, I want to hear it, okay? I just want to stop it there for a second to keep going. And although I'm not as sure on that one. But when it comes to the orb, now, for myself, and some of you have heard that I have had firsthand, in-person, close, in-your-face experiences with orbs the size of Volkswagens, right in front of me, right on the water's edge at the beach, and also on the mountaintops in the mountains. And these orbs and the Sasquatch, they tend to a lot of times appear, from personal experience and also from my research, they appear a lot of time where there is water movement. or on top of a mountain. And it sounded like you maybe had a little bit of both going on up in the mountains. I want to hear those too, Tracy. You gotta, email them to me. Maybe we could, because we're supposed to meet tomorrow. Maybe you could share one of them then, and I could record it. Or if you want to write them down, email them to me. Tell my story at TheSupernatural.Show or submit it on the website, Tracy. And also where there was water movement, currency, current, meaning like energy flow. So I think what happened there is that they had a run-in with a woods person, and that the woods person has angelic capabilities and is able to manifest itself into a orb of light. Typically they will be on a smaller scale. They will be more the size of a beach ball. When people witness the orbs associated with woods people, the ones that I normally see, they're big as a Volkswagen. They are the angels that exist in our realm supernaturally that are of a higher level. But apparently it's looking like that the woods people have the ability to transform into a small orb of light size of a basketball or beach ball, that kind of thing. So I think that is likely related to what you've seen. Now, you didn't say how big the orb was, and you said it was about 100 yards out, just hanging there above the trees, and it was white. This is typical of the stories from people who have seen orbs associated with woods people. And the option is also open for y'all guys to meet with me all I have to do is send you a link. I can text it to you, Wayne, or anybody. I can text you the link, and you click on the link and you're right in the studio with me, and it's a peer-to-peer studio, which means there's no server like Skype or any of those kind of things in between us. It is a direct person-to-person, as close to private as you can possibly get. And you can meet with me and tell me the story directly as well, if you would prefer that over an email or a submission on the website. You can do either of those options. It's also very similar to the orbs that I've seen on many occasions, but the ones I see will come to me up close, 25 feet up to a couple of 100 feet, and they're big as a Volkswagen. Round, completely round all about, and bright white, which is what the Book of Enoch describes them as being as well. Book of Daniel describes experiences at the water's edge as well with angels. And of course, Genesis describes Moses on top of the mountain with what he described or was described as a bush on fire. And so I think that you had a combination of supernatural experience, likely had something to do with getting you out of the woods because there was something dangerous there that may have been associated with the horse. Because that, to me, might fall into that other category, okay? But Charlie, I thank you very much for submitting the story. And what's your story? If you've got a story that happened to you, I don't care how crazy it sounds, you can submit that story 2 ways. One, you can just email it to Tell My Story. I have already covered that for y'all guys, so you know what to do. So I'll stop it there. I hope y'all guys gained some knowledge today, especially with the discussion we had for most of the show. I hope you gained some knowledge, something to ponder. I'm not saying I'm giving you all the answers. I guess I'm giving you a lot of questions, things to ponder, and decide how you're going to deal with it in your life, because ultimately You have to make the choices for yourself in this life. Don't listen to some YouTuber. Don't listen to really anybody. You really have to choose for yourself. This is your ride. And I would think the main person or it's not a person, the main entity is our Father in heaven is who you should take it to. You do that simply by going in a quiet place, not out in public, not on the internet. I don't really pray much on the internet, not because I don't pray, because I pray a lot, but it says in the Bible, and it makes sense, to not pray on the street corner like a word it uses, not heathen, but hypocrite. Yeah, don't do that. And so I tend to not do it unless it's really, really feels like I should. So with that said, thank y'all guys for being here. I see Arges saved by the G, saved by God, maybe you're referring to. It says, by the way, I at 74 grew up in Medford, Oregon, and worked in the timber of our Northern California. I bet you got some things to tell, don't you? And all the guys who work for me typically were non-believers. Came to believe in these creatures. Yes. I mean, I can't help it, but I have enough information at this point in my life that I know that they're real. And I've heard testimonies from literally thousands of people. There is a legitimate, straight up guy, his name's Steve, on the How to Hunt or the Facts by How to Hunt on YouTube. And he doesn't have, when he gets to talking sometimes a little bit about politics and some things, I don't agree with everything he says. But there's not much I don't agree with him on. But when it comes to all the stories that are submitted, I mean, he's been doing it now for probably close to 10 years. And the stories are just amazing. And he just sits down and reads the emails that come into him. And recently he started doing a few little interviews and stuff, you know, more like this. But I recommend his channel, The Facts by How to Hunt. Just like I recommend for sure the Roxy Files, which goes live on Tuesdays. And then Children of the Most High goes live on Thursdays. And we also have our other brothers that are joining us, which is Primal Instinct News Drop, which is going to be, which already has joined the network. And then we also have Evolutionary Energy Arts, which is also joined the network, the Supernatural Show network. And they're going to be on here on Monday. So we'll get to talk to our guys over at Evolutionary Energy Arts. Really, really bright, humble, beautiful people. And I'm excited to getting to know them better directly. And I'm excited for y'all guys to get to know them too. And yeah, so with that, I'll let y'all guys go. I love you. And remember that our Father in heaven, not only real, but he loves you. He'd like to hear from you sometimes. Get a chance. Go somewhere and just sit down and close everything down and just talk to him. Believe it or not, he's listening. Bye-bye for now.